Alright, you total bitties. It's time to dust off your starter jackets, rip off those tearaways, and blow into your game cartridges. I'm Sam Blanford.
I'm Pat Sellers.
Sean Kelly, and we wish it was the 90s. Welcome back to our first episode of the new year. We're I guess covering a film that, for unintentional reasons, reflects how this podcast is probably going to go. Pat and myself in particular have put in very limited amounts of preparation. Today we're going to talk about Clueless. But before we do that, you need to rate, review this podcast, or maybe go and follow us on the socials as soon as possible, because if you don't, your device will blow up. At WIWT90S. Just do something else out. I know we've been a little bit slack lately, but we're back, and we need the help. So we all watched Clueless. Sam, for the first time.
This has been a request by a number of listeners, I believe.
This was one from our famous segment, My Wife Suggests. My Wife Suggests! My Wife Suggests! Was my better half suggested this. And judging by this intro, I think it's going to be one of the better episodes, because Sean, you got a bit of a raspy voice. It's a bit like when Phoebe gets that cold. I think you could just talk all day. You got a real sultry tone to your voice tonight.
Thank you.
Pat continues to reference Friends. He's really hanging out for an episode.
Now, I think I'll just keep dropping in Friends references throughout every episode. Never do Friends.
Yeah. Sorry, going back to what you're saying, Sean. I never watched this until yesterday. So I'd like to hear your guys' sort of your memories of watching it for the first time, or what you thought of it compared to what it was watching and now, I guess.
Yeah, sweet. So I had fond memories. I don't remember when I watched it. It seems like it was one of those sort of teen movies that was just always about. So I've got no definitive memory of. I don't think I saw it at a cinema. When did you say it came out? 95. Yeah, I would not have seen this at the cinema. Yeah, so I would not have seen this at the cinema. But yeah, I've definitely seen it a few times. And rewatching it today, I had a great time. I had no complaints. I had questions. I think it's set up in an interesting way. Doesn't make the movie good or bad or anything like that, but I think you're supposed to think about some characters certain ways, and I don't really do that. And I don't know if that's because I know how the movie plays out, or just because some of the characters aren't as bad as they're supposed to be. But yeah, all in all, just a solid 90s teen movie, and I think I quite enjoy some elements we'll talk about later, but I really enjoy the fact that it's narrated from Cher's perspective throughout. I quite enjoy that we are constantly getting her perspective on things. So it's from, it's not like an overview of something. It's actually, there's quite a clear protagonist, and yeah, I think it's great.
I thought I'd seen this movie before. I have literally just finished it and jumping on here, and I think that might have been my first time of actually seeing it. I think I just knew the references from other film and TV shows. So I didn't have a strong memory of this from the 90s. I was more of a fan of Alicia Silverstone's work in teen hits as a younger fella. A couple of good fold-outs in Teen Hits magazine.
I thought you were going to say Batman and Robin.
Well, I did like the Ant-Man and Batgirl collab towards the end.
Batgirl.
She's Batgirl.
But this was just the ultimate 90s fest, really. You got 40-year-olds playing high schoolers, the tech, the high school cliques, It's basically about nothing, but still has to have a narrator. They say the name of the movie at least 4 times in my counting, and they really love to perpetuate a few stereotyps. Definitely got the takeaway that broads can't drive. But this had heaps on, but I enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, and I think it might have been my first watch today, but I mean I've got a terrible memory, so maybe I saw it in the 90s, but I think this was my first go around and enjoyed it.
If it came out in 95, did we say?
Mm.
At the time of filming, Paul Rudd was at least 24.
He looks younger now.
Yeah, let's not talk about Paul Rudd's ageless qualities. Unfortunately, we can't cover any of Paul Rudd's Friends episodes because they come in the early 2000s from memory.
I didn't really know what to expect when I was. Well, maybe I did know what to expect, but it wasn't what I thought. And when Pat was saying, "Oh, there was all these," maybe you've got things from other pop culture references to Clueless. I pretty much only knew that Alicia Silverstone was in it, and that she played a ditzy character. I thought it was like, was this a piss take? Or was this how people acted? I feel like there was maybe a bit of both.
I was going to say, I think it's more earnest than it's supposed to be more earnest than it is.
And there were like really serious scenes that were kind of not that serious, kind of like brushed off, which we'll cover a little bit later, I think. And yeah, they were trying to make. It was like they were trying to make a really important. There was important messages in it, but then really missed the mark completely. I really enjoyed some of the characters, and some familiar faces were really good to see. Didn't know that Paul Rudd was in it, and definitely didn't know that my boy Donald Faison was in it, with some awful braces. But enjoyed the fashion, enjoyed some of the sayings synonymous with the 90s. I thought it was a very good watch for our podcast.
I just quickly, before we go too deep, obviously the general gist of the film is it's all based around Alicia Silverstone's character Cher, and sort of, I guess the idea is that she sort of has a coming of age where she realizes that the world isn't just about her, and I've got some nitpicking to do with that idea, but I guess my initial question for you guys is the IMDb synopsis says shallow, rich, and socially successful Cher is at the top of her Beverly Hills high school picking scale. Seeing herself as a matchmaker, Cher first coaxes 2 teachers, blah blah blah. Do you guys think that she's that shallow, even from the outset?
Nah.
I just think she's naive.
Yeah, I'd say that's more accurate. Especially like from the very first oral presentation she gives in class.
So this is, we'll jump into it quickly. This is the thing that I think in this watch kind of annoyed me, is it's clearly trying to establish her as some sort of character that is maybe annoying or a bit of a dick or whatever. But I'm like, she even though she's at the top of the social pecking order and she tells Ty not to date the stoners or whatever, she's never like that rude to anyone. She seems to like feel bad when bad things happen to people. Like she's never like the rich snooty bitch that I think you're supposed to think she is. I quite like her from the start, and yeah,
it hurt. The change to who she is at the end isn't that much, is it? Like, yeah, as a like, you know, like as you say, sort of coming of age and really learning about it's not all about you. And she wasn't all the way that side to start with, and she doesn't progress.
and the other thing, the other thing about so by the end of it, she's doing a fundraiser for some disaster relief, and she goes on that journey because she's feeling really bad about herself, and she thinks that maybe to feel better about herself, she needs to do things for other people. But throughout the movie, she's been trying to set people up, and because she wants them to be happy, and maybe there's a benefit to her. But also, if she's just doing charity work 'cause that makes her feel good, that's just the same sort of nepo baby shit anyway.
Yeah,
I think she's really likable. Really likable.
She also just on her. I know we'll talk about, and when we do our character draft, we'll talk about the characters we like and stuff like that. But she just absolutely nails her character in every kind of facet. Like the way she speaks, her facial expressions, everything is incredibly believable that she is the sort of naive, rich teen girl in Beverly Hills.
Ugh, as if.
Literally on the list of IMDb quotes, at the very top of the list, as if.
Did they have whatever with someone doing a W?
oh yeah, it was good.
Did that actually happen? People say that and do that?
Definitely.
Yeah, on a par with a big L on your
How
forehead.
huge this was. Anyone else in this podcast also sport the baggy jeans hanging below your boxes? Yeah.
Oh, when she
more
rips into
intermediate age, I think.
when she ripped into the baggy jeans, unwashed hair, backwards cap, I was like, oh dear God.
I remember this.
He's not.
I was just wanted to not see more silk boxes paired with the baggy skate jeans.
That's more late 90s.
Yeah, he's definitely not here, so we can say it. But Simon definitely had some lowrider jeans and a skatey belt with a little tag hung down the front.
The little one with the teeth that bit into the material. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
This is definitely a generational moment because you stop making off Simon because me and Pat dress like that as well.
No, I'm just describing Simon. I don't know what you're talking about. I thought he'd be here. That's why I was bringing it.
Pat just ferociously turned his cap back forwards after coming onto the podcast with it backwards.
Yeah. I think Simon actually used a computerized outfit creator.
The tech
definitely did not age well.
That was weird. But that's also something that probably didn't exist. Touch screen.
Although I thought the touchscreen part, but the aesthetic was pretty good for games in the 90s from what I remember. The sort of the ways that the buttons were set up and stuff did sort of remind me of an old, I don't know, a ARL 96 type operation. Although it was pretty well done.
I'll say one thing. For a 90s movie, teen movie, pretty disappointing soundtrack.
Yeah.
And nothing really stood out to me.
Hopefully not jumping too far ahead, but speaking of, who was the band? Was it the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
Oh, that's a great question.
That band, the singer, nearly got a spot on my character draft.
Fair. He was gurning pretty hard. Yeah, that had to be legit. He has showed up on set, deep into a bag or something.
Listen to this quote from Time magazine. The Boss Tones were actually cast in the movie, playing the band at a house party. The reason we agreed to be in the movie was because at the time we had just found out we had poor management who had failed to pay taxes for years. Barrett says, we were in a tax situation and we were paid really well.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So it was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I think, I don't know. Good stuff.
That really gave me bad flashbacks at the end of that scene where they're just sitting around and everything's packing up, and she's just like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And then the guy Christian's just absolutely reveling still.
And you're trying to lock up the cricket club because you're on duty, and I won't name them, but they're not leaving. Just give us the keys. No.
What were some other things that that didn't age very well, apart from the paging?
I thought Josh/Paul Rudd's attempt at a goatee was pretty good. It was a bit of a Paul Rudd, David Brent collab situation going on. That was pretty funny. I was hoping he was going to stick with that throughout the movie.
So good. And Alicia Silverstone's mug off was real good. She was saying you're the last one at the coffee house without chin pubes, which is exactly what they look like.
What about when they're in the car right before they end up on the freeway, and Murray's cracking up about the revelation. Your man Christian is a cake boy. A what? He's a disco dancing, Oscar Wilde reading, Streisand ticket holding friend of Dorothy. Know what I'm saying? No way, not even. Yes, even. He's gay.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
But then Dion says, he does like to shop, Cher. And the boy can dress. I don't know if that aged very well.
Some great stereotypes getting pushed along here. And also, towards the end, it was Cher's comment to their maid or cleaner that she doesn't speak Mexican. It's like, yeah, I know she's playing a ditzy character, but that still just comes across really rough.
Just racist. And he's like, she's from El Salvador. And she's like, so?
I feel like that seems out of character for her, though. Like, it's not out of character for her to not know where she's from or whatever, but it's out of character for her to not, like, appreciate that that's rude.
It's very in character for a 90s movie, because like the jokes would be, oh, she's so silly. It's like, no, that's just her being racist.
I don't know. She's got a few zingers throughout. One of my favorites was Pauly Shore catching strays. Was that her saying that? Which is like, it's like searching for meaning in a Pauly Shore movie. It's like, I have not heard that Pauly Shore in so long.
Yeah, I was in the middle of something I was watching, and I was like, I desperately wanted to sit down and do some research at that point, because I had to stop in my tracks. That's good stuff.
I didn't know it was a Christmas movie.
When did it come out, Pat?
Party at the first party they go to. It was a Christmas party. It was a Christmas movie.
It's pretty much a Christmas movie, just like Home Alone.
Die Hard.
So, who's more of a Betty, Dion or Cher?
Tight race. I'll go Cher. Mostly, pulling back to those old teen hits magazines would be. I think she'd have to be a total Betty.
Bob?
Yeah, I'd go Cher.
I reckon Sam's going to go Amber.
Amber is a Betty, and definite out there, Mrs. Geist, bit of a Betty,
massive Betty, and that's
You've got a real type, eh, Sam? Like Vicky Valancourt. What was the other one? What was really love to check off? What was that other movie we did? When she does that dance scene that you couldn't stop talking about.
And 10 things.
10 things I heard about you. Yeah. I just wrote that down, I reckon. I was like thinking, it just sounds really into Amber.
You forgot Rogue from X-Men.
Yeah. Anything a little bit alternative, eh? It's what's going on here?
When I wrote that down, it was quite near the start when the word Betty was first used, and I would definitely at that point would have said Dion was more of a Betty. But I think I warmed to Cher as the movie went on, So she becomes more of a Betty as it goes on. But I think I've got to go with Dion, Dionne.
Back to your point about Miss Geist, I just think that it's really nice that they got Miss Geist and Mr. Hall together, but Mr. Hall he's way out of his depth there.
He seems extremely familiar, and I haven't had a chance to look up his credits. Any chance you did, Bill?
I've got it right in front of me.
Yes, thought you might.
He definitely was familiar to me.
Wallace Shawn, Princess Bride.
Pat's favourite movie.
That's the only thing that's popping up. That's particularly. Oh yeah. I've never watched an episode of Young Sheldon, but he's on 50 of them.
On Monsters Inc. He seems to do a lot of Pixar type stuff, so maybe that was the voice that I was picking up going.
I felt like his voice was more familiar than his face. But yeah, I couldn't tell you who he was in any animated movie.
No.
We still haven't talked about the most 90s thing, or actually probably not 90s, just pre-2000s thing. And they're going to the party and they're using a map to get there.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, shit, that was good.
Did you enjoy the bickering between Murray and Dion?
Look, we all had a mate, either a female mate or a male mate, who was in the exact relationship at school, where they would be off one party and then back on by Monday. Every friend group had someone like that, surely.
I don't know. We went to St. Pat Silverstone, so none of us were talking to any girls.
I don't know. The Valley indoor scene was hopping.
It was hopping. But enough said about that, if you will. Just on some favourite moments. So we've sort of touched on quite a few here. I actually, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a father now, but when Cher's walking back and forward outside her father's office because she wants to talk to him but doesn't want to just go in and talk to him, and can I help you? And she starts highlighting all the November 3rd or September 3rd or whatever it is, phone calls, whatever, and they have the chat. And the chat that he gives to her, and what does he finish off by saying? You look after everyone in this house. You make sure I take my vitamins. Something. You remind me of your mother. I'm just like, that was probably the most heartfelt moment of the movie, and it just got to me a little bit. And I was like, all right, I'm going to stop chopping this broccoli for a second and let that sink in.
He was good, the dad.
He was real good. I definitely got his up. He's in Usual Suspects.
He had a real good one of when he's telling Christian? Is that the 40-year-old European guy?
Yeah.
Turns out the guy? Yeah. When they go out on the date, it was anything happens to my daughter, I own a 45 and a shovel. I doubt anybody would miss you.
I thought the bit after that. You think the death of Sammy Davis left an opening in the Rat Pack?
Yeah.
He was just like one-liner after one-liner at that point.
He was excellent.
Angry man there.
He is excellent, though. He was very good.
Look, there weren't many characters that came off badly, apart from Elton, who apparently loves the Cranberries and sexual harassment.
Yeah.
It was brushed off real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like Elton, that's fair. I did like? Travis Breckenmeyer.
I recognised him.
Road Trip?
Road Trip.
Okay.
Road Trip.
Yeah. I couldn't remember what I knew he was in one of those those types of movies.
He's in something else as well that's quite notable. Like he played a few of those teen type movies, but even past that, I'm sure he's in something quite notable. But
Did you notice?
Oh, he's in
Lot-
Clueless.
Did you notice lots of the students walking around with plastic surgery
Yes.
plasters on their face? There's one kid in class who always had something on her nose, and then in one scene she walks past, and then another kid walks past with a massive plaster on their chin.
I did notice that.
Is that a thing like
They went to a very different high school than I think we did. Also, judging by the cars.
I know what he was in. He was in Garfield. He played John. That makes sense. I knew it was something like that.
I saw Garfield there, but it didn't click. Yeah. Very good.
Sorry. Yeah, Brick and Meyer. Love him.
Should we move on to a character draft if we're talking about...
Brick and Meyer's also in that weird Hugh Jackman time travel movie. You guys know that one?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's getting...
What is it called?
Hugh Jackman time travel movie.
We should name this podcast Sean Looks Up IMDb.
Kate and Leopold.
Oh, that's right.
And unfortunately, it came out in 2001 because that movie is great. And it does a really good job of tying the loop of time travel, which most cinema doesn't.
Speaking of this one, this movie does a good tie up at the end with the wedding of the two teachers. Thought that was pretty good. But I did have a question for you.
I thought you were going to reference Ty, Brittany Murphy's character that we haven't even talked about yet.
Ooh.
Oh, what about when she almost gets murdered at the mall? Yeah. What happens there? That's out of control. And then she goes back to school and it's like everyone's talking about it, but like then making up lies. Like, I think one of them said, "Were you there? I heard that she almost got shot by gang members at the mall." It's like, I don't really need to lie about what happened. What happened was insane.
If anyone nearly got shot, it was Cher.
Yeah, Christian really got up the power rankings when he jumped straight in and just grabbed her and then gave the guy a serve. I was like, well done. Cher getting a gun pulled to her head. She has a very odd reaction to that, which I found really funny. Like she was really inconvenienced about the guy telling her she was going to have her head blown off.
He was actually quite nice about it too. He was like, "Yeah, get on the ground."
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Count to 100. The thing I was going to talk about was with the teachers getting married. As a teacher and a former teacher, did you have any students at your wedding?
No.
Probably not.
I did bridesman at a lesbian wedding, and one of the other bridesmaids was a former student, if that counts.
Yeah, it's a bit more than arm's reach. No, that's fine.
Yeah. It was interesting at the hens.
Sorry, child crying. Going back to the wedding. There were a couple of bits that weren't mentioned, that I thought were quite good. Was the PE teacher making calling them all together for the bouquet throw? And she was quite good, that PE teacher. And then in Cher's narration at the end, she was like, "Just kidding, I'm only 16 and this is California, not Kentucky."
Oh, I did love that.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I didn't realise the PE teacher was the one that organised the bouquet throw. Question.
Have either of you ever been to a wedding with a bouquet throw?
Yes.
I couldn't remember.
My wife caught it.
No.
It was like a setup, I'm pretty sure. Everyone got out of the way.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
What did you do?
Sounds like a real 90s movie.
I walked out of the room, Bob.
That's good. Where are you going? I'm going fucking ring shopping.
That's a real 90s move as well. Like, real pissed off about you miscarrying the bouquet. Straight to the bar for me.
It was at Boom Rock, so there was only about 20 people there.
Didn't Rogue catch the bouquet at Scott and Jean's fake wedding?
Oh boy! Oh yes,
very good.
Rogue.
And just a little, just on that, edit this out if you want, Sam. But I read some reports for X-Men '97. It sounds like Sinister's going to have a big role to play.
We're out. I'm out. Right, character draft.
Let's draft.
I'll pull out the names, shall I?
Please.
Woo!
All right, hold on. I've just got my my bits of paper here with definitely has your names written on them. And I don't know what one I want. I think I want third pick here. All right. First pick, Pat.
All right, I think I mentioned it before about someone going up my power rankings. Christian, it's going to be my first pick. Big jump up the power rankings for his heroics at the mall. I also liked how old he was playing a high school student. Like that, he was definitely the oldest out of them. Surely, I'd love to look him up, but he did look 40 years old. Which on that as well there was a lawyer right at the end, the one that fires up at Cher and Josh, is possibly the only actor in the entire movie that looks like he could legitimately play a high schooler, and he's like telling them off as the old lawyer. He gets up, he's standing next to Paul Rudd. He's like a foot shorter than Paul Rudd. He's not famously tall. But Christian is my number one pick.
That has thrown me massively. Because Pat didn't give me a chance to say that I was the second pick and Sean got the third pick.
I wasn't bothered.
It's really hard to find this guy's age.
I'm going to go with Murray as my second pick. Look, I'm a big Donald Faison fan from Scrubs, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. But his fashion, I didn't love the way he treated his Dion, to be fair. But every scene that he was in, he brought a lot to. Particularly liked his jibes about her driving a car. His braces just topped off the look. Oh, and him getting his head shaved at that party was real mint.
That was pretty good. Just keeping it real. Has he been on anything but Clueless and Scrubs? Not that he has to be, because he's done a phenomenal job.
Oh, come on, Pat. Remember the Titans. He's Petey, baby.
That's goody. Yeah, true.
Eddie Jones, running back. The running back, y'all.
Football is fun.
Sir.
Football is fun. Sir.
Bob, you got back-to-back picks, mate.
Yeah, this is tough. This is really tough. But I'm definitely going. My first pick's going to be Cher. I enjoyed it. She took us on the ride. It was her story to tell, and she told it well. And I enjoyed her journey. She's definitely one of the most likable characters. There's quite a lot of really likable characters, but she's one of them. I'm really torn here now. I kind of expected one of my top three to be taken. All right, I'm going Travis.
Oh,
Just an absolute heart of gold. Goes on his own little self-discovery journey, and it's just genuinely nice to everyone the whole way through. Even though at times he gets treated like shit. Just a really lovely, clumsy guy, and he knows his issue and he gives it up and gives up the wacky tobacky and wants to take his skating career seriously. And I've got a lot of respect for that as a former skater.
Sean, wearing those belts with the little teeth in them does not make you a skater.
My 26 red baggy jeans and my backwards cheapskates cap.
Get a bargain at Jeans West back in the day.
Yeah, I was eyeing up Travie B. Look, really wanted to take the Messiah of the DMV, but I think I'll pass on that guy. And I think I'm going to go with Paul Rudd. you can see his acting style developing throughout the movie. He probably was in a movie before this, but this is one of his bigger early movies, I guess. And he's really good. He a bit like, I feel like his character needed to almost reject her at the end. But that's maybe my issues with the plot. But he's great the whole movie. Kind of his relationship with Alicia Silverstone, and them kind of taking a piss out of each other, I quite liked. Very good fifth pick, I think.
What have you got, Pat?
You made it hard. It's made it very hard. It's not going to be Elton, that's for sure.
Poor old Elton. What about Ty? We still haven't mentioned Ty.
I think I'm going to go Ty. I was thinking maybe Mal, especially because I only learnt that his name was Mal about in the last 15 minutes. I think it's mentioned is the dad.
Mel Horowitz.
Dad.
But
He was
I'm going to go Ty. I'm going to go Ty. Ty has some really funny scenes where she's like melting down at that I don't know, restaurant or all those things, diner, about her relationship falling apart with Elton, which really never got started. And she has that box of like all their memories, which is 2 memories. It's got the tape of their song of Rolling with the Homies, and I don't know, some item that she throws into
the towel that he used to like.
The towel he used that he used on her head. With the ice. She throws that in the fire.
She also takes that breakup really bad, considering they never dated.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. It was pretty funny. It was good stuff. So I'll go with Ty.
To be fair, I think that quite a lot of people went through messy breakups when they didn't actually date people in high school.
I feel like Mr. Hall's been hard done by here.
I think, like, honourable mentions, Miss Geist, Mr. Hall, obviously the dad. What's interesting is no mention of Dion, who I think does her job as that character really, really well, but her character doesn't really get to do much except be the third person in that 3-friend group. And I guess compared to, say, Murray, who's also, pretty much there just to be her boyfriend, but he is very funny and, I don't know, brings something he brings something to the film, whereas it feels like Dion's character is just performing that part that was supposed to, which, she does well, but doesn't really add much. In fact, probably the best thing that Dion adds is Murray.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Sam. Would Murray go as high on your list if it wasn't played by Donald Faison?
Definitely not. But maybe it depends who he's played by. I don't know. I just got to dislike him so much. Him and JD. Is that his name? Go on Scrubs.
They got a podcast, don't they? Probably not as good as this one.
I was a big Sarah Chalk fan, Pat. She was a big Betty.
She's a total Betty.
Anything else, guys?
I mean, we don't bother with recasts anymore, do we? We can't do teen movies. We don't know anyone.
I just finished watching this film. I'm not doing a recast.
Did you know it was based off a Jane Austen novel, Pat?
What?
Yeah.
Are you making it up?
No.
Are we doing some Tracy trivia?
I'm a very gullible man. If you tell me a lie, I will believe it and then go tell other people this fact.
It was based very heavily on Emma by Jane Austen, which I'd never heard of. But it's pretty much the exact same storyline, obviously with a completely different setting. One question I did have for you guys before we go, because we're about to hit the credits, is how did you find the in the credits and the opening scene, it's got those 90s colours with that big font. I hated that, eh? How did you guys feel about it?
I didn't watch the credits.
And at the
start? I remember the... Can't remember.
I don't remember, but if they're big, bold, weird 90s colours at the start, I enjoy it. But I can't really remember it. But
I feel like it just missed the mark, eh?
It's a very enjoyable watch anyway. I've got got a bit of a boys' day playing golf tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to using some of the quotes of this.
Nice.
Especially just random throwaway stuff like, "Why would I listen to you? You're a virgin and you can't drive." That's going to come in handy on the golf course, I think. Like someone who's a virgin and they can't drive.
What's that? Do you want some trivia?
Nah.
Ooh, have you got some?
Well, there's one that's real funny because it's made me nervous. So Alicia Silverstone actually did not how to correctly pronounce, and this is why I'm nervous. Haitians? Is that how you say people from Haiti? Haitians?
We should cut this part.
Mm-hmm. But so Alicia Silverstone also didn't know how to say it in a classroom, and instead of correcting it, the director decided to not correct it because it suited her character. During filming, Paul Rudd was mugged, and his backpack was stolen, including his script.
Nutty.
Seems like an excuse.
Brittany Murphy confessed after filming that her insult to Cher about being a virgin who can't drive was actually who she was at the time.
Nutty.
And this one's quite interesting. There's a couple. There's probably two more that are interesting. The part of Mr. Hall was based on a real Beverly Hills High School debate teacher, Herb Hall, a friend of the director, Amy Heckerling. So, as a favour, the real Herb Hall was given the part of the principal.
I don't even remember the principal.
No, neither. Paul Rudd auditioned for the roles of Murray, Christian, and Elton. Rudd assumed that the character of Murray was a white teenager trying to act like a rapper.
That's more of a not another teen movie type.
And although we don't know the age of Christian, because apparently it doesn't exist, according to my research, the oldest cast member is Stacey Dash, who plays Dion, who is 29.
She old.
And that'll do for Tracy trivia.
Still a total Betty.
What have we got coming up, lads? Lots in the pipeline.
Pat and I might do another Batman episode, I think.
Yeah, they're quite good. I haven't had to watch in a while.
It's discussions of a this week on of some description. Pokemon Gold came out in 1999, so currently replaying that at the moment.
I was going to say that's tough. I've never played anything beyond Blue.
And there's rumours that the oft-mentioned Lee Kelly he's not technologically sound enough to work our recording devices, but he's keen to do a 90s New Zealand cricket podcast.
You don't know how much tech admin that's going to cost me.
I feel like that podcast is like, that's an entire separate podcast. Surely Lee Kelly could go on for a long time about 90s New Zealand cricket.
He needs us, mate. He needs us. He can't do this recording himself.
But I mean, it's going to be more than one episode.
Oh,
it's going to have a lot to say.
We could probably do like a Shell Trophy, Cricket Max, those sorts of things. We probably won't go club cricket in the 90s, but
I'd like to. Me and Sam talked about a movie called School Ties, which I think would be quite interesting. Have you seen it, Pat?
No.
Sam hasn't either. It's pretty unknown, but it's got Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. The main character is Brendan Fraser. You mentioned someone else as well, Sam, when you were looking it up.
Cole Hauser.
Chris O'Donnell.
Cole Hauser from Yellowstone.
I taught it back in my teaching days. I reckon it's actually a really good film, but I think it'd be quite good if we had one where most people hadn't seen it as well. I guess that was a little bit like Clueless.
Yeah, I'm keen. I got a date. She said she's coming over with some tapes.